Hello everyone, this is Priya Nandwani and I am a recent graduate from ITM University. So this is the assignment I got, and in this assignment basically we have to filter out all those research papers which are contributed by the corporate world and not by the academic side, like different departments, different universities, different labs. So we want to see the contributions of the corporate world in the research papers. Okay, so basically in this particular file pubmed.api we are basically fetching we are using APIs to fetch all the required documents, and then we are basically fetching all the full paper details, and we are storing all of it in a paper list. Basically this list is a list of dictionaries in which we are storing PubMed ID, in which we are storing our title, publication date, authors, affiliations, corresponding author email. So we are storing all of it in our papers list through all of the code that is written here, and this code is basically the manipulation of all the data that we get from the APIs. And you can see here we are storing the ID list, then we again fetch each of the documents in detail, and after fetching each of the documents in detail we are storing the article title, IDs, authors, and again we are running a loop in author uh, for storing the names of the author, for storing the affiliations, and that's how we are preparing this list of dictionary, and we are returning the papers. And if there is any error, so we are basically also printing the error and returning nothing. So this is the functionality of the very first file of our program, of our assignment. And then moving on to the filtering part, because these papers include all the authors, be it from the academic side or be it from the corporate side, and also the affiliations. So we need to filter out them. So the filters.py is the function responsible for filtering that. So here we can see that we have basically given a list of different keywords that are generally associated with academic side. As you can see, faculty, clinic, education, public health, hospital. So these are the things we relate with the academic side. So this is the contributor function and this is the main function. So in this main function, we are basically uh, we have made two lists: non-academic authors, non-academic affiliations. And for author and affiliation, we have zipped them together. For example, we associate each of the variable of both of them together. So here, if it is a non-academic affiliation, because from the affiliation part of it we can only know if it is from the academic side or from the corporate side. So uh, we are sending this affiliation to the contributor function. Here it will take that affiliation, which is basically a string, and it will return us a boolean. And as you can see, we are basically running a loop over this again and again, and we are checking if any of the keyword is present in the affiliation string that is given to us in the lower case basically. So we are checking that, and if it is present, and if it is uh, basically if it returns a false, then we will not get into this particular condition. But if it is true that it is a non-academic research paper, then it will we will basically append this particular author and this particular affiliation into uh, the list that we have made, and ultimately after all of it we will return uh, both the list. And that's how it will be done. So basically what we have done, we have fetched the documents, we have also filtered out them, using filters.py. Now comes the part of CSV writer. So basically we need to store that in the form of CSV file. So CSV file, we are saving it to the CSV format. So as you can see that it has a list of rows, and we will take the list of dictionaries. It will take a list of dictionaries, and it will return nothing, and it will also take file name. So basically this particular function will take all the paper in papers uh, that we give from the uh, filters.py, and if it is non-academic, then basically paper.get non-academic authors. So if there are no non-academic authors, we will simply move to the next iteration. And if it is present, so basically we will append all PubMed ID, title, publication date, non-academic authors, company affiliation, corresponding author email. So we will send all of this data to the list of to basically this list, and this rows will contain a list of dictionaries, and basically we are firstly converting it in the format of data frame, which is basically uh, like a table, and then we are converting that to a CSV file with index false, because we don't want any numbering to that particular row. So yeah, that's how it is saved in the CSV format, and this file is basically responsible for that. Now moving on to the next. So basically these are the main three files we use, but we can also do manual we can manually use this three functions, as we can see in the test fetch .py. Here we have given the query, we have given the papers in which we have given the query and maximum results, and we are basically using all of the functions that we have made. As you can see here, from the papers we are using PubMed API, filter, CSV writer, and we are calling those functions, and uh, we are basically uh, storing all of that in the uh, default file, which is filter papers dot CSV. If we don't give, of course we are not using CLI, so it will store that into the filtered papers dot CSV. So here we can see that different functions are being used, as we can see here. So yeah, that's about it. And here basically we are only seeing that different functions are being called, and we are basically storing all that information, and we are basically hard coding all the queries and papers, and then we are calling, and it will be only stored in the filtered paper CSV. That's the only file. So this is about the manual result. And when we talk about the CSV file, so here we see that we do the same thing. We import different functions from different files, but we also are using OS and arg parse, basically for parsing the arguments from the CLI. So here basically this is the function, which is the main function. It will take our query, it will take our result, like maximum results. It will take file, if we give it a file, and it will debug, and we can also give this debug, but it is not required. And also file is not required, maximum results is not required, only query is required. But yeah, if filtered papers.csv is already filled in some usage, so it will ask for giving it will ask you for giving the other file. So basically, here we see that we are calling the fetch papers and we are storing all the list of dictionaries of the papers here, and we are storing different data here. Then basically this is the logic for that. But when it comes to the CLI part, so this is the function responsible for the CLI part. So here we have made a parser using argparse.argument parser, and we have given it a description: fetch and filter PubMed papers. So now uh, you can see that we have made different arguments like query. So we have written a required equals to true because it is required, and help we have also given. If somebody would write dash dash help, so search query for PubMed will appear. And same goes with max. We have given it a type int, we have given it a default because we want maximum number of results to fetch. Then we can also give a file name by using dash f or dash dash file. And default will be filter paper.csv, but if it will be filled, so it will ask you to give a different file, which basically the logic handling is done in this part. So we can see os part.exist, and it has something, so this prompt will be appeared. And yeah, that's how it is done. And also we need to only give the name of the file, we don't have to add the .csv argument when we are giving a different file. And also we can see file and then one for debug. And we have made args parser dot pass arguments, and then we have run this main function that we have made here. So yes, this is the main function that we are running. And yeah, that's how it is handling everything. So uh, basically this particular function will not run if we import this function elsewhere. We need to, because here we are mentioning it as a main function, so it will only run from here. We can't import this function elsewhere and try to run this, it will not work. So let's test the manual part first. So yes, also I have wrapped all this code in uh, poetry module. So basically poetry is a tool in Python for managing project dependencies, and it is also used for packaging and creating virtual environments. And basically if we use that, so anyone uh, fetching our project need not to install each of the dependencies individually. All will be managed by the poetry module itself. We don't need to install libraries like Biopython, pandas, which are basically used in this program. And we can run this program across different machines, and we don't need to do the global installation. And yes, now let's test the manual part first. So let's go to the terminal. So if I run, this is our program. So if I run poetry run python test fetch dot py, so it will give us the results. And we can see also, so basically we can see this file is generated automatically, and these are the results. I have also printed them in the console. Here we are getting all the authors and all the like ID, publication date, corresponding author email, and then all the authors Then at the end, I have got all affiliations also, but then I have got all those basically which have done the non-academic authors uh, and non-academic part basically. So if we take a look at the CSV file, so basically there are only two files which are done by the corporate side. These are the PubMed IDs, these are the titles, uh, then the publication date we can see, and then non-academic authors, company affiliations. These are all the data that we see here, uh, as you can see. So basically in this format, columns are separated by a comma and rows are basically given a next line. So this is the format of the CSV file. Now, if we talk about, like, we can change the query here and the results will change. If I change here, so the results, the number of research papers coming will increase or decrease. I can give according to me. Now, talking about the main.py in which we are also handling the CLI part. So let's run that. So here we will do poetry, run python main.py, and we will run this. So basically using the query like this, we can just give any topic. For example, I give DNA and dash dash we give max, I want 7, and dash dash we give file as already, for example, filtered papers already exist, so it will ask me to enter another file name, and you can see that in a second. Yes, so basically it has printed the result, but it is asking me to write another file. So let me give it a name, for example, second. So here we have got another file, second.csv, and here we can take a look at the file. Here there is only one file which follows this particular format. So there is only one file with the PubMed ID of this, then title of this, and yeah, so there is only one contribution done by the company related to the DNA. So yeah, that's about my project, and I hope I hope you like it and you have got to learn something different today. And thank you.